everybody, Grim Repair here. Today I'm going to show you how to replace and recover the headliner in your car. Specifically, we're doing it in an 86 Ford F350 with a 4-door, which makes it a little bit more complicated than doing it in a 2-door or a car with a hatchback. It's a little harder to get it out the door. I guess you can get it out the back passenger side, but since I'm going to be changing the back glass out for a slider, I'm going to go ahead and remove the back window, and I think it'll be easier to get out that way. There's going to be a lot of generalized tips on how to do this. It'll walk you through pretty much any car, really. If this video helps you out, be sure to subscribe. Tools that you're going to need are a screwdriver or a Torx bit, or however they're holding in your plastics around your car, and a panel removal tool. And I'm using a magnetic dish to hold all the screws. We're going to start by removing the plastics around the outsides, because after we get that out, the dome light and the visors will kind of hold the headliner up, and then you can have an assistant hold it in the back while you're removing all that. So we got the screw for the hook, and there's going to be some clips in here that hold this in. Oh, that one didn't come out. There we go. We're going to remove these screws here on the sides. Got one right here. Mine's kind of disintegrated right here, but there's a screw there. It's 1,000,000 degrees here. Tip the seat forward. If you didn't know, there's a latch right here on both sides. That just pops off. A couple more screws over here. Alright, I think that's going to be enough to get this rubber seal off of here. There are more screws, but that'll give us enough slack. If you have your car phone, make sure you disconnect the antenna. Now we're just gonna get this rubber seal, get it separated from the metal. Over time they get kind of attached. So get it off of there and bend it around a little so that it gets used to moving. We're going to do the same thing on the outside. And you can hear it's still kind of sticky right there. All right, now we're just gonna go inside, and we're gonna have an assistant on the other side so we don't drop our glass. We're gonna pull down on this rubber and just push on it. Start here in this corner just because it's where I feel like starting, but the corners are where it's really held in. So you want to pull it down like that, get it out of there in the corner, and just push on it. All right, you see we got it, part of it on the other side. So now we're just gonna keep pushing on it, working our way across. All right, now that we got top half of the glass out, my assistant should be able to just pull it up. And that's it, it's out. Go ahead and pull this panel out. And there's a screw underneath of there. Pull that one out. And as you can see, these screws are different lengths. You may need to keep track of where they go. This one's in the hook, so I'm just gonna leave it in the hook. That one's already out. Go ahead and remove it. Yeah, we'll get it back holding that plastic in. We do have one here on this side. There we go. This one's in here a little bit better. So I'm not gonna pry on the headliner. I'm gonna try and pull on it. Because these panels are metal, I can pry on them pretty good. Yours might be plastic, and you might have a different story, but coming from the back here, maybe, see what happens. Oh. There we go, that one's out. Move the screw here. Here. And more metal panels here by the door. Down. Same thing over here, pull the screw out. Put a washer over that probably to hold it since it's kind of stripped out. Got another metal panel over here. Remove these two screws. Kind of pull that out. It's clamped around the weather stripping. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull these screws out too, just to give us a little more slack. There you go. This one I'm gonna try and pull it out with my hands because there's not really anywhere to pry on. There we go, kind of jumped out at me. Now we're gonna remove the visors. They're held in by screws. Sometimes they're just clipped in, you just pull on them. Or there'll be a little push pin in the middle. Just gonna set the visors here on the dash, and I'm gonna put all the screws with it so I don't mix them up with the others. Now all we have to remove to get the headliner to come down is the dome light. Usually the lens on it will kind of just clip in. You'll squeeze it and pull it down. These are the tabs that hold it in. Be careful with it though, it's plastic. And that bulb is usually going to be pretty hot. I probably should have pulled the fuse, but I didn't. So what I'm going to do is grab a towel and I'm going to pull the bulb out. My back window out and I'm ready to slide out my headliner. I'm going to go ahead and loosen up this dome light. Just got a few screws in it, and there's going to be some wiring I'm going to have to disconnect. Oh, it's already starting to come down. Oh, nope. The screws are part of the wiring, so that's nice. And it may still want to hold on a little, and some cars will actually have clips in the middles section. You're just gonna have to pop those down, and it can be difficult. A lot of times they will rip out because it's either glued onto some fiberboard or a piece of cardboard. So don't go too crazy forcing it out. I'm gonna get that on the other side of that plastic, and now that that's out, I'm gonna lift it out on the other side because this is holding it up a little. And they are a little bit flexible, but now I'm just working it out the back window at an angle. Well, my assistant slides it out the back, and part of mine ripped off over here in the corner. gonna add a little bit of time to the dry times. But anyway, the headliner's out. Now we got it set down. Mine used to have fabric on the other side of this foam, but it was sagging, so I ripped it out. But you're gonna have to just pull the fabric off, and then you're gonna have to clean off this foam. I'm gonna show you how to do that. After you pull off all the fabric, got a drill, safety glasses, and a respirator on, because this stuff's gonna be everywhere. Just got a little wire wheel on it. I'm just gonna lightly go over the cardboard. Till it's all off. You also don't want to be near the edge and have the blade going this way. It'll grab it. So if you got it around this way near the edge, make sure the blade's going that way. And laid the material onto it and folded it over in half. And this is a wider truck, or if you have a wider truck or car, you're not going to be able to get the headliner material at Joann Fabrics. I had to get this online, and I have a link down below where I got it on Amazon. And I'm going to use some headliner adhesive by 3M. You want to get the best stuff that you can find. And we're gonna go ahead, shake the can real good, hold it about 6 inches away from the surface, and we're gonna spray it on both the fabric and the backer board. And we're gonna have to wait a few minutes and let it get tacky. Then we're gonna fold, we're gonna roll it over onto the adhesive, and then we'll go ahead and do the other side. Working my way out from the center. While my lovely assistant holds the end. Folding over to do the other side. And where it curves up, I'm supporting the backside with my hand and putting pressure on it. Being extra careful in the area where we had to repair it. The can says it'll dry in 60 minutes. I'm gonna let it sit out here for that long, and then I'm gonna trim the edges, and I'm gonna let it sit top down for at least a day so the glue can dry. All right, after the glue dries, I just came through and could feel where the backer board was, and I just cut out the holes I needed to cut out. Got the holes for the dome light, the visors, and the other part of the visor. So I take a pick and just poke the holes so that when I get it back into the vehicle, I know where to screw whatever it is I'm screwing into. And I also trimmed the outside here. This one didn't wrap around the board, and all the sides are going to be hidden underneath of paneling. Some cars, the paneling doesn't hide the edge, and usually they'll wrap around and be glued on the back side. So just put it back the way that it was, and keep in mind what's going to be covered and what isn't. Now we're going to go ahead and put it back in the truck. You want to make sure you handle this with clean hands because it's difficult to clean if it gets stained. So I'm going to be putting on a new pair of gloves. Make sure the tools you're using are clean too. You don't want to touch a dirty drill and then get it on the headliner. All right, now I'm in the truck and we're going to hook it up to the dome light first. So that's the central way to support it. I'm going to have my assistant slide it in through the back. Gonna get all three of these screws started and then we'll tighten them all the way down. Actually, make sure everything else is lined up before we tighten them all the way down. Okay, you should be able to let go. All right, now the headliner will support itself. Make sure all these plastic pieces are under it. I'm gonna put the visors in next. If you get to a spot where you can't line the screw up, you can take a pick and just kind of stick it in the hole that you made before you put it in here. And you can feel around for the hole without tearing up the headliner. And you may have to move the headliner a little bit. That's why we didn't tighten everything down all the way. We're going to tighten everything down once all the screw holes are in. For whatever reason, this section of the video got lost, didn't get filmed, whatever. But now we're here at the junkyard for you guys. So if you could give this video a like, I'd sure appreciate it. I'm that guy at the junkyard putting things back. But so you want to put a piece of wire into the groove that's going to be on the inside of the window here. And we're just using a piece of old speaker wire that we found, and it's got to be big enough to go all the way around the window, and it almost is. I think this will be good enough for me to show you this. And then pull it tight, make sure it's all the way in there. I'm not sure if you can see that very good, but it's in there. And some windows are glued in, so this may not apply to you. Hopefully you didn't have to remove your window to get your headliner out. That makes life way easier. We're gonna set it on the windowsill now and kind of line it up with the opening in the window. And we're gonna have a friend hold the window from the outside. Hopefully you have a friend. If not, try to get one. It also helps if you can spray the weather stripping with some soapy water. Kind of lubes it up a little bit. But once it's in there, you're just gonna pull this out, and it's gonna, whoop. That's why you want lube and a strong wire if you can get one. But it's gonna pull the weather stripping over this lip, and it's gonna install the window back in. You usually don't need any sealant or anything. Try it on this side. So we're just pulling it out. Nope. It's not gonna work. This wire isn't strong enough, but if you just keep going, you have a strong wire and some soapy water, this piece of rubber here will pull over the edge, and you'll have your window back in no time.